As I was saying, we're going to start now, officially. So I'm going to place a little marker so that I can delete the stuff out from the start, so the VODers miss out on this glorious action. Sorry, VODers! Alrighty, let's begin. We're back with Humankind's worst cultures. Of course, Byzantines, medieval era. How are we doing? Let's have a quick check. Firstly, the fame check. We're playing on Humankind difficulty, and we've got one person so close behind us, I can feel their warm breath raising the hairs on the back of my neck. The visual cues today, outstanding. We also have, of course, some era stars to earn, and I haven't really earned a lot. So I'm not going to focus in on anything in particular, except, do note, I love my aesthete stars. They're worth 200 to me at the basic level, whereas the other basics are only worth 1. So I've got to keep that in the back of my mind. We're also a money culture as the Byzantines, although good luck. However, there is a more pressing issue at hand. Dusk and Dawn, again, a subscriber AI persona, declared war on me at the end of the last session as the Ghanaians. And if we zoom on into this battle, you'll see it's bad news bears. I nearly won this fight about 3 turns in a row. The stupid boat carried it on and allowed reinforcements to arrive. Yikes. Very cool, Dr. Fingers. Yeah, that is really cool. That is really cool, I agree. How funny is that? The timing is uncanny. Okay, let me just pop that out. Brilliant. So what I'm thinking here is I need to try and get reinforcements over to this front line. Now, we have enough war support that we can technically afford to let this war go for a little while. The downside is, have a look at this. We've got an army of 6 approaching here. Combat strength ranging between 39 out of those knights and 33 on the elephants. So this one is sort of 33 to 19. This army is actually quite a bit weaker. We could maybe get a win out of them. What I definitely need to do, before anything else, before any horses, before any market quarters, throw some people onto food and industry, because we're going to need population as well, if we want to train, wham bam, thank you ma'am, some more units. Now, look at these dreadful things! Ah! 5 turns away from more summons. Ah. I see and remember. I think we just have to ride that out, though, unfortunately, and double down on our best units, which are, unfortunately, the Gothic cavalry and the swordsmen at the minute. Obviously, any soldiers are better than none, so I will build some. Sus has got 8 to defend against the encroaching 6. That's probably nearly enough. What would help it a lot would likely be some stone walls. So we'll give Sus the stone walls. Doesn't actually... Also, I note it doesn't really have many districts, so the city itself is quite small. That scares me. It scares me. I might also queue up one of those if we ever get there. I don't know, but it's there anyway. This city I'm more worried about. This feels like a vulnerable little place, especially because... What are these walls? We don't even have any. We've got stones laid about. Look, literally stones outside of a fence, everybody. Hola, senor. Hey, James. Olotoa is here as well. Jane says don't scream, but Torrential Stinger is here too. Ew! Wicked. Okay, irks is fine. It irks me a little bit. The upside to it is maybe that it's a little easier to defend than the rest because it's tucked away. However, I don't like the look of that encroaching. So, actually, one more quick thing that we'll do here to prepare. Splash... I was going to say splash a bit of cash, but I've just remembered we've lost a lot of our trade routes. Now, this aggressive player wants me to surrender to the Ghanaians. Is that a feasible option, I wonder? We might be able to sweeten the deal with both parties. Let's have a look. They want me to give them sheet. What a load of sheet. And actually, that's it. We could pay them $2,800 and give them sheet to avoid conflict. But I think because we've got so many units ready, we might as well play this out a little bit, right? And if it doesn't work, then we can explore some emergency exits. But if it does work, we're gonna make it work. W177 Reaper also wants territory off me. This one I feel like is not really a justified claim, so I'm going to refuse that.
No, I cannot agree to this anemic.
And they took it. Nice. That will allow us to trade, and trade we shall. Because I need some extra happiness and stability. Maybe more important even than purchasing units outright. We'll find out. And Demetrian. Hold on with that obelisk for a second, good friend. Because we're going to want you to also produce an army. Again, unfortunately, we're going to have to rely on our Gothic cavalry. But they are cavalry, so they're weak to the likes of this spearman, which will turn into a pikeman. As soon as we get pikemen, we'll build some, but spearmen I'm not so interested in building. Let's produce a whole lot of units into Demetrian, and also allow this matron to produce us a couple of archers. Reason being, maybe we'll be able to afford to upgrade them into crossbows. Between these two cities, they should also be able to get up a large enough army to, firstly, scare off these morons. Please. And secondly, more importantly, defend against the incoming tide, or reinforce it. Let's have a look at this fight. Okay. My turn. None of these fights are good. I've used all of my units except for this lad. Let's just make them defend. We need to stall for time. So instead of attacking in, we're just going to try and defend and hold. And like I say, try and stall this out. Get as many turns out of it as we possibly can, while also destroying the weak little units that position themselves round the outside, and hopefully using our archers to stem the tide. I'm afraid of these elephants a lot. Of course, I'm not afraid of the horse, because as regular viewers will know, the horse can't climb over the walls. So I can just kind of stand in place here, swap the healthier warriors to the front. And end another round. Brilliant. Okay, we've ended another turn. Nice. Keep stalling. Just keep stalling. Just keep stalling. What's my favorite color, Terminator? I don't know. I actually don't know. Come on, folks. He usually has 12 likes before he starts. It's true, P. Draggy. I have not asked for a like yet today, but thank you for being what I'm assuming is one of the 10 people who have already liked the video. I wonder if we'll get to triple digits today. Should I set the target or should I not? I don't know. Hittites to Goths to brawny Civ sounds too good. It ain't. But we will change the mold in the next era, which reminds me, everybody, it's time to poll. And Dr. Train rightly points it out. The early modern era is the weakest. Now, in my tier list, I ranked the Dutch as the weakest. However, I note that most people don't agree. So what I'm going to do is put my opinion to one side and put forward the two generally agreed upon as weakest or least versatile cultures for the next era. I don't even need to look it up, because all of these cultures are super fresh in my mind, having recently released the early modern era tier list, and I think it goes without saying that the Edo Japanese are universally considered to be the weakest. I'm also going to add the Poles, because I think they are also really bad. I'll leave the Dutch off, but those are going to be our two options. Who will it be? Like and vote? Question mark? A shameless plug for the early modern era. Alright, it's the Edo Japanese versus the Poles. Jumbo can't do a poll on mobile. All good, Huck. Hey, thanks. Firstly, thanks for being here on mobile. Linguist, a wonderful linguist is indeed hiding from their manager in the storeroom at work. And I can tell you, I've been there many times. Hilarious. I've spent most of my professional life hiding in storerooms from my managers. Oh, that really... I really feel that on a deep and emotional level. I do. Okay. Alright, Twitches. The poll, hilariously, as I write the word polls, is live for you as well. It's the EM era. You've got 10 minutes for this one. We're going to sort of drag this one along because it's probably going to be 20 or 30 minutes before I choose it. So, there you go. Let your votes be cast. I'm going to like my own video, which makes me the 22nd person to do so, according to my metrics, which is awesome. And we'll smash straight back into it. In the school pickup line for my daughter. Oh, mood. Dad of the Year award goes to... Choose Edo, or I'll put your heads on a pole. A little aggressive, but the passion is what counts. Brilliant. Hey, and D's Nut 82 followed 4 minutes ago on Twitch, and I missed that alert because I didn't have my speakers on. So let me turn my speakers up so I don't miss anybody's kindness, whether it's a follow or anything more. I don't want to miss it. So there we go. It's there and it's live. Okay. Oh. Oh! Oh my god! That was good timing. Did you notice the Byzantine artwork shows Emperor Justinian and Theodora? Oh, Dusk, I did not, and I put it in the thumbnail. So what a chump I am. Speaking of people who are not chumps! Ben Ownby. Long time no see, my friend! And hopefully, in fact, I know that Huck has reached out to you lately. Recently, so that's good. We're thinking about another community multiplayer session coming up soon. February's a stupidly short month because, for whatever reason, people decided it should have a fewer days. But we'll have a March one, so keep your eyes peeled. Over to YouTube for a while, be good kids. Oh, actually, that's a good point. I should fix that for you as well. I'll do that afterwards, Torrential. There you go. Place your votes. I think the Edo are the worst, but I'm picking the polls because I've never seen them played. That's the other thing also, yeah. So this is as much a bad cultures stream as it is unplayed cultures. Because, I mean, let's be real, in reality, those two are very much the same, right? People aren't playing good cultures. Here's a single unit that's going to give me some war score because they're going to retreat, right? A minus 5% because they retreated one unit. Very easy way to quickly get a bit of war score. The goal here, if you haven't tuned in before, because I know we have a couple of new people around, is to get them to 0. Get them to capitulate the war. Get them down to 0. At the moment, they're on 90. Retreats will give us 5. Victories and holding cities will be where most of our gains are made. What I could actually keep doing is continue to force that unit to retreat as well. By chasing it down, perhaps, with 2... roaming Gothic cavalry. Go on! Chase down this vastly inferior horse. What a joke. Ben Ownby, thank you so much for a $20 super duper chat of awesome. Ben, my biggest heart goes out to you. Ben says, unfortunately, can't be here today, Pixels. Good luck and have fun. Thank you. I hope we'll have fun. I don't know if we'll have the good luck, though. We're about to find out. Tamar is very fun. China, but I'm playing as Vietnam. It was awful. Yes, been learning a lot from my videos. Hey, La Sulu, good stuff. Welcome back today, friend. Okay. We're getting some slight gains here. You can see combat strength slightly shifting. That was a very Australian pronunciation of shifting. Got these combat strength slightly shifting into my favour. That's probably what I sound like anyway to most of you, I realise. A New Zealander doing an Australian accent probably doesn't carry a lot of weight to the average viewer. Remembering that over 50% of viewers are Americans on my channel. I always have to keep that in mind. The audience is a... I mean, not a massively different culture to mine, obviously, but slightly, right? And I'm sure that there are, like, idioms or sayings or analogies that I say that just make zero sense because of those little nuances. Where did that archer go? They killed it, didn't they? Unbelievable. Let's step back. Let's step back behind this wall, which I think is different to that wall. I think this wall is my wall and that wall is their wall. Right? I think that's what's going on. Looks good to me. The elephant is the big issue. It's going to step up and move a bit closer, but it's only doing 7 damage to that defended promoted warrior. Melee attack moved outside the walls to do it. Feels bad. What feels even worse, though, is sending my Gothic cavalry at that anti-cav unit, so we definitely won't be doing that anytime soon. Focus fire in on the weakest link, which is probably that elephant. 9 damage. It's gonna take a while, everybody. Let's get the promoted boy out of dodge and send the healthiest boy and fill in the blanks. We'll also move to high ground. Nice. Hey, the cavalry's here, but it can't get there. Scheist. It's unfortunately stuck outside of the battle perimeter, like this unit is as well. I guess I could move closer to this wall, maybe try and bait them into attacking me through the wall. Another round of trying to defend against melee attackers. I think we're going to lose this time. Yep. Okay. Another melee unit into the fold. Let's use some extra firepower here. Sending the cavalry at the anti-cavalry feels bad, but it's going to be just enough to destroy that unit next turn. And that matters. I don't think this unit has any way. We'll just keep walking. Keep marching, get some visibility here. We can see if reinforcements are coming, I suppose. That's something. Try and bait them into attacking this horse. And everybody else is just going to hold. And we're through to another turn. Great. Another chance, potentially, to reinforce, right? So, step 1. March an army of 4, followed by an army of 2, out the door. They're going to stumble immediately into a fight, unfortunately, with some really aggressive barbs. I'm going to have to take this manually because we need to try and reduce as much damage as we can. Now, unfortunately, they're using my city to defend against me. I hate them. The upside is they are weak archers and they will die in one shot. So, amazing. And it's my walls, so my horses know how to climb them. Fantastic result. A little bit of damage around the edges, but, I mean, they were just barbarians, they were just archers. Not a huge consideration. Nah. Do I want to pay 129 bucks to heal these bad boys? It's only a turn's worth of gold. I'll allow it. In the beautiful army of Benombi's mad lads. Thanks for the super... Oh, and of course, as always, super chat donors or new Twitch subscribers will get cities named after them. I think the next best city is probably Shush. So, I'll give you this, Ben. I know you're probably not even still here with us because you just dropped generosity and bounced. Really appreciate it. What for like... I'll call this... Ben Suspicious Shitty. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, I know, I'm creative. War's been declared by the Aztecs. Oh, good God.
With a resolute but heavy heart,
Are you for real? Okay. So we're entering the World War phase. It's unfortunate. Gonna need a couple of lads to stand by these walls in case we get invaded. Irks, which continues to irk me, is also losing some of its stability. Now, unfortunately, not a lot I can do about that at the moment, while I'm also desperately trying to build units. Might be a good idea to emergency tap out of maybe this war. What do they want? Nothing. Literally nothing. Okay, we'll just let that wear away, I think. What have they got coming? Swordsmen, double promoted, and crossbows. Yikes. Okay. It's a yikes. It's not the end of the world, but it is a bit of a yikes. I will still chase down these guys, because the extra war support in their war is now even more valuable if I'm thinking about a cheap tap out against old yellow boy up there. We'll find out. They'll move back to the flag or forward to attack me, but they won't stay where they are. That's important because that will mean that I can stand on level ground with them. take as little damage as possible, and romp stomp their faces. Speaking of romp stomping faces, Dusk and Dawn with a 15er to Tina. Thank you very much. No idea what to say here, so read my comic, I guess. You know what? A little bit of self-promotion is fine. A super chat self-promo at that. Wicked. Hey, Dusk, thank you so much for a 15 to Tina. Let's call a third city. Let's put you right next to no, actually. Yeah, okay, let's put you right next to Demetrian's one, who I think subscribed on Twitch yesterday. We'll just call it Read Dusk's comic. Great. It's like when you're watching something on Netflix and there's like a can of undisclosed carbonated soda, other sodas are available, and it's so blatantly thrown in your face, you're like, how much did they pay for that? However, here it's fully open and disclosed. Read Dust comic. I noticed that the early modern era poll ends on Twitch. Pilu, and 40. Hope you have a safe bike ride. 57% of the votes, with a few channel points thrown in behind them by J196. Hey, friend. They won. They won. It was close, which really surprises me. But they won. Okay. Ooh, let's merge. I should clarify, it doesn't surprise me that the Edo Japanese won. It surprises me that they only got 57% of the vote on Twitch. I actually expected them to get a bit higher. What surprises me even more is that currently on the YouTube poll, which granted has only received 32 votes so far, but it's getting there, the polls are winning. Strange. Al threw some at Edo as well. Oh, right. Sorry, I only see the person who threw the most, unless I really delve in, so I must have just missed that. It's called Anaka, the Ballad of Light. There you go. Dusk. Brilliant. Maybe I should rename it that. It won't all fit. BOL? That'll do. I think that's pretty good. People will be like, what is this? I love it. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for super supporting the stream. Seriously. It was aesthetic, making it objectively worse. Yeah. I agree. And that's why I thought people would have voted for it, right? Because I've gone militarist gold. I would be surprised if choosing a militarist was the worst option for me, given what we've played already. But, hey, it is after all the will of the people. Democracy always decides. Oh, for crying out loud. Here's a whole lot of anti-cavalry. My gothic cavalry is looking at them thinking, ooh. Ooh. Our last defender is about to lose their defense. On the bright side, we've destroyed their anti-cav. So, they have no melee units, I believe, in range of the flag now. Right? So I can move off it? Question mark? I think I can. Move next to that horseman, maybe bait a downward stab. It's not going to be a very good one for us, but I'll try it. Any reinforcements to come? No, because they've been, well, it's not that they've been held up, it's just that they're horrifically slow. I also note an army of 6 dudes moving this way, so maybe we try and fight them in an open field. Bring the archer onto Demetrian. Bring cavalry and archer to the high ground there. And then slam these bad boys in, just wham bam, thank you ma'am, at their face. Boom. Ooh, that's a shame. Sure. Again, I'll go for the manual resolve, and try and deploy close to the archer to try and keep it defended, yeah. Yeah. Cool. Oh my god. Amazing. The downside is these ranged units are going to be a pain in the backside, so let's send in the cavalry, quite literally. The cavalry's here. Go, 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 go. And then you can't actually see anyone where I positioned you, so cool. It's a slightly disadvantageous move for me, but I think it's worthwhile just to start weakening these boys. Boys! So, we'll do that. It was uncalled for, I apologize. 25 to 46, that's a terrible move. Actually, and even actually positioning that unit there wasn't very good either, but I'll keep that one there and we'll call it a day. We're gonna need you as well, I think. You crappy archer. Because we're a little bit outclassed. Archer can send just 1 or 2 little damage to take out theirs, and then we'll go for the high ground, not anti-cavalry, stab with the cavalry, try and use their strengths to their advantage, and position 1 more archer up here for next turn. It's a close fight. I hate that. Position these archers down here. They're going to move in for phase 2. Cavalry versus anti-cavalry. Never a good idea, but we can hoon around here and try and clear out the flag. And then, again, like I say, next archer, moving in for phase 2, but trying to hold as much high ground as we can in the process. Nice. Oof. Oof. Okay, that's continuing until the next turn. Lucky for me, it's easier for me to reinforce than it is for them, right? Because I can just go, bleh, warrior, bleh, cavalry, bleh, swordsman, bleh, archer, and call it a day. Leave to Matreon doing what it's doing best, I think. We do need, after all, some sort of Matreon. I don't want to move to intercept there because I'm worried about these guys. So, we'll just play our cards super close to our chest and be in Sus City. Get these walls out of the way, and then a couple more units. Brilliant! Okay, let's move. Oh. Just stay there. Oh, shiza, I've got this mess too. And no reinforcements on the way because they were stopped to defend. Looks like you're on your own, Laputh. Oh dear. Interesting. Alright, let's get you in behind the walls. Let's get inventing. I should really sink that boat, actually. Oh, shoot. I should really sink that. Gonna have to keep watching that. Next wave's gonna come in and wreck me. And we might need to go on a counter-attack just to balance out the nasty war support equations that are gonna be playing out here in a minute. Archer's gone, so I have nothing to even do at this point. We're at turn 5 out of 6 of the long siege of San Lorenzo. This one is also carrying through to turn 107. Welcome, everybody. How do you send in reinforcements? I thought you had a battle already in motion. You can't add more troops to the battle. Yeah, you can't, unless it's your turn. If it's your move and it's your turn, you can, and the troops have movement points, then you can march them in. Now, in this case, I don't have any that are ready to march in, but if I did, I'd be able to just walk them into the battlefield, so long as it's my turn, and they have movement points to walk with. Oh. Oh. High ground stab. That will just hopefully allow my unit to survive. Nope, it was a trade. Oh shoot. So I've got 2 ranged elephants versus 2 really weak horses and an archer. Are you for real? Oh dear. Any reinforcers? Reinforced city forcers? Yeah, here we go. We got 2. So it's my move. These guys have movement, so I can just walk them in. Boom. Into the battlefield. Done. Reinforced. Hope that helps, Zulu. And then click the little plus-aroo and we're off. Stab you. Swordsmen aren't doing a lot for me, but I'll bring this guy in anyway. Speaking of not doing a lot for me, that attack is not doing a lot for me. Stuff it. Yes! We made an elephant fall down in the process. Brilliant. What is not brilliant is this. This is going to be a loss for me. Oh, hold on. Can you make it? Ah, you just can't. Dang you. What about you? Again, just can't. 1 movement point away. I guess we'll just bring them over this way anyway. They are pillaging that, and they've got another 1,000,000 units on the way. That's really annoying, and I don't want to put any resources into dealing with them. So, I'm just gonna pay them $2,000 and say, go away. Great. Okay, war is over. War is over, which means I should push out of Ben's shitty and city and start to launch a counter move. I think. Let's go. We've got 1 more horseman coming online as well. As soon as the walls are done, I might just finish those because it doesn't actually affect our industry in any meaningful way, and that'll let me get, I don't know, some cavalry to come and help. Nice. Negative 2,600 gold per turn is not ideal. But, is what it is. Hopefully, if we win this war, so I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, we win this war, we could still come out on top. And a friendly reminder, we are in the lead. Lots to think about. This fight scares me a lot, although they haven't reinforced, but they've got loads of ranged units. Hopefully, if those units don't walk in, and this is on its very last turn, I can win this. Yeah. It looks like I can win this because they don't have any melee units, so they have no way of crossing from my border to their own. Brilliant. That was a victory. You might not have noticed it because it was incredibly fleeting because they immediately challenged me to a fight afterwards. Another siege is being carried out by a boat, and I can only assume the same units again. I hope it's the same units again. Let's play it out. Let's see. Yeah, it's just more ranged units. So, just run. And hide. We just need this 1 swordsman to hide right out here. Far enough away that nobody can shoot it. And then I guess redeploy some extra bodies into the fight. Just in case things go wrong. I'll just reinforce... Ooh, I shouldn't have reinforced this unit actually because it's going to get shot and die. Unlucky. But again, the circumstances of this fight haven't changed. So long as no melee units are being reinforced, it's just another fight that will drag out until the end of time. That's unfortunately a bad attack, so I'm just going to sack that unit into it, call it a day, and play it out. Because we won the last siege, though, we did get another -8 onto our war support. We've now got them down to 73. Bit of a grind. Hopefully we'll get there. I'm not going to get here, though, am I? Nah. I'll defend. Dang it, I was going to say I'll defend and then move to the flag. Not gonna happen. Because that's gonna force me to move down onto the low ground from them now. So I just give up all of my positioning if I do that. And likely take too much damage in the process. Might just try and stall for time. Oh my god, he did. Oh, dang it. Not a lot I can do there, I don't think. That unit escapes by the skin of its teeth. But hopefully not for much longer, because I have 6 movement points here. So let's quickly chase this thing down. We lost the fight, so we lost 8 war score. But if we can chase this thing down and beat it, hilariously, even though the first battle was grand, and this one is obviously not going to be, it'll provide me with the same war support multiplier, that -8. Default -8 regardless. So, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Maybe. I don't know. What I do need is money though, and we need it quite quickly. So as soon as the Obelisk of Gods is finished, we'll do that. I might sacrifice some growth temporarily in exchange for money and science, because I'm a little bit shy on both of those. And then just keep working on this obelisk. Can we get it done in a turn if Ben Shushity Laputh gets onto it? Yes, we can. Brilliant. Let's get that out of the road so that we can start generating some sweet cash moolah. Let's merge these units in here so we have 5 strong armies ready to march on what I can only assume is kind of a bit of a mean, aggressive AI waiting to pounce. Landing on a tree? Unfortunately not. But we might as well chop these ones as we move through. Pump a bit of production into Ben Shushity. It can finish its garrison, although I would much rather it build that, because that's going to give me 50 gold from being built horse adjacent. Nice. Are the Byzantines secretly powerful? Well, circumstantially, maybe. You also do need organized warfare to reinforce. Thanks, Hoff. I forgot about that precondition. So true. Speaking of not doing a lot, how about you like the video? Thanks for Excava. Weak cultures like playing horrible civilizations. Yeah, that's right, Marty. We're just playing the worst of the worst. The bad cultures in every era. I highlight 2 of them, and then you decide which one is truly the worst. Interestingly, it's going to be the Poles, not the Edo Japanese, which surprises me. And Huck's just got home from school. Hope it was a good day at school today, Huck. What did you learn? What did you learn? Can you detail the difference between putting an outpost and putting up a city? And the advantages between that, and when's a good time not to develop a city? I do have a full video on how to develop good cities, and it's actually, might I say, a fairly good and concise guide. So I'd recommend you check that. But in a nutshell, absolutely. Generally, players want to sit 1 above their city cap. So the best sweet spot is 1 above. Whatever your city cap is, you should try and have the number of cities that is city cap plus 1. And that basically determines when and how to establish. The only other thing to keep in mind, and it is a tip that I would forefront instead of sending you away to watch another video because it's so important, is these technologies. The first one is feudalism's colony model, and there are others as you move through. Each era after has a similar tech. Look for the ones that have colony in them. This one's colony plan. Where is it in the next era? Steam engine gives colony blueprint. They may make new cities start with all infrastructure from previous eras. So all of the city infrastructure is automatically built once you get those technologies. So I would also recommend you try and build new cities in and around the time that you unlock those new technologies. Hope that helps you. Last. And thanks for the $3 super sticker. That's awesome. We don't often see the super stickers, and I have a soft spot for them. That's so kind. Thank you. That video about city building you made is fantastic. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Because I think it's good, but, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean it is, so it's nice to know that it is actually useful. One of your best beside the tier list videos. Oh. Cheers, dude. Appreciate the feedback. It's always nice to know, you know, because of course I can look at views, and that's one piece of feedback, and I can look at how long people watched the video, I can look at how many people liked it or disliked it, I can see the comments, I can see things like impressions click-through rate, so how attractive is a title or thumbnail. That makes a massive difference. But of course, the one thing that I can't really glean from that data, even though it's usually correlated, is actually, like, just generally how good was this relative to something else, right? I have to use the data. And the data's not always indicative. Let me give you an example. The Humankind tier list that I released yesterday was the worst video I've released in a month. You know what the really crappy irony about it that is? It's the video that I put the most time into this month. What? It's ridiculous. So sometimes the data doesn't stack up. What's the rationale behind it? Likely low search volume, relatively low interest across the board. Humankind a more niche game than Civ. Modern era tier lists more niche than, I don't know, a Humankind review or a trailer or an update, you know, something that generates attention. So that's kind of why. The reason why I'm rambling about it, though, is because it's a good little example of an example where the data may not necessarily reflect the quality of the video. Because in my opinion, on that tier list video, it just doesn't. So much effort and thought and consideration and editing and time goes into it, and it just... no one sees it. Again, it's just due to the nature of people's interests and stuff. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. Thanks, Hoff. Appreciate the feedback. It's a fickle beast. Hello, Without Shield. Welcome, friend. How are we doing today, actually, across the board? Let me check in on the old likes target. Oh, dear, should I even look? Okay, we're doing good. Oh, actually, we're doing really good. Welcome in, I guess, because now's the time that I usually go live. Some more regulars will be starting to tune in. Welcome in, everybody, if you're just tuning in. We're playing Humankind's Worst Cultures, and at the moment, I'm just a little bit held up in some wars. Here's another one, but this one I'm going to manually trigger because it's a 5v10 by the looks. Yep. Unfortunately, they're going to get first mover advantage. And their crossbows are going to decimate me because my technology is wildly inferior. Let's focus fire on those crossbows. They are, of course, weak to close-range melee attacks. That's their big downside. We're going to use that to our advantage. We're going to need to get these units off the low ground. Who deployed those there? Idiot. Also try and avoid the knights as much as we can, because they're terrifying. Stand up on the high ground. Yep. High ground. Yep. And... River attacks are also considerably worse, so we might avoid those and just stand on that high ground and not do any damage for a turn, which is super bad. Their knights are killing my Gothic cavalry. We are way outclassed on that front, and that's pretty sad. That seems like another pretty good attack. Maybe there's a charge attack somewhere around here as well. If I clear the way, I can get through with the horsemen. So maybe melee dude tempts the knight to attack it instead of attacking another horse, because that goes really badly for me. Horse jumps to high ground. And this plan is unfortunately not going to come to fruition for me. I'm not quite going to be able to get there, but I can go there! Nice! Okay, we've seized the flag. Let's send this horse up onto high ground. If you want to fight me, you're going to have to come and get me, punk. And the knights have moved to the low ground. Very good. Unfortunately, it's low ground that is literally surrounded by river on all sides. That makes it kind of tricky. So let's just do the old bait and switch. Bring the healthy unit to the front line. Step up onto the high ground. Deal a little bit of extra damage using an inferior swordsman. Also move into this high ground spot. Go for another stab. And sit there around the rivers too. Okay, brilliant. This unit will actually stab down there because that's a good attack and we're on full health. So we may as well seize the day. Rather than stabbing you there, you could trade that way to defend this horse. And even though that might look kind of dumb, I actually think that's the right move. I would rather this unit attack that horse than any of these other ones. So I'm going to send that horse in and remove it. Might feel a bit counterintuitive at first, but I really feel like it is the right move, actually. And let's focus in on gold, on cash money, by building our unique hippodomes, or whatever they are. Hippodome. That boat is just the most annoying unit of all time, but thankfully this one's just an end turn. Do not auto-resolve. If you auto-resolve, the AI will, I guarantee you, send this unit up this way to stand on the flag and get itself moitered. So we're just holding the line. And let's get some more retreat war score out of that unit. Oh! Maybe we get some victory war score out of this unit, actually. Brilliant. Step to the high ground. And take the fudge. I shouldn't have taken the flag. Oh. I see. They had reinforcements hiding in the shadows. Okay. That's alright. It's not alright. It's really not alright! It was an ambush! Well played. A well played ambush. I got baited into that like there was no tomorrow. Unfortunately, no money to upgrade, so we're going to have to rely on our industry to get these crossbows out. Three population for a turn. No. I can't help but feel that that should have been finished many turns ago. However, there's a free city down here that I could grab. Could be useful if we lose Laputh, but I don't think I'll do it for now. So I'm just going to reposition some units slightly outside the city walls. Oh. Actually, let's move to this forest, which I've been meaning to chop for a very long time. It is providing us 5 industry, which is pretty massive, but I'm going to chop it down to try and pump some production in here so that I can get some extra crossbows produced while we sort of bounce in and out and in between everything else. The pikeman's going to be really useful as well. Don't forget that's my anti-cavalry. This is our answer to their knights. So, let's upgrade the military with some anti-knight and ranged superiority firepower. Brilliant. You ass. I pieced out with them, and now they're just roaming around ransacking all of my territories. How dare you? Let's produce these units quickly and deal to them, or at least scare them off, because that's annoying, and then we'll reclaim this one up here that they destroyed. Unbelievable gameplay. Smash down a harbour on this unknown island, and Ben Sus City can't quite afford it, so we might just not do that, actually. Nice. Negative 2,000 gold. But moving through to tier 3 of our religion maybe gives us an opportunity to make a bit of... Somebody took it. Okay. Okay, cool. Yep, cool. And they took Purge Idleness, which is generally the other good one in what I consider to be the worst religious tier. By quite some margin, actually. Apparently I forgot to hit enter. I do that all the time with the polls. Or sometimes the YouTube one, I start it and then it doesn't work. If you search Humankind City Building JumboPixel, it'll be the top result. Amazing. We can't post links in chat. Yeah, we can't. Although, Huck, can you? I wonder if a moderator can post links in chat. It's kind of annoying that the moderators can't. But that's all good. I can find the video. But apparently if you search Humankind City Building, it just comes up. Let me see. I mean, I should come up in my own search history. Humankind City. What if I just search... Oh, no, I just search Human City. Cool. Humankind City. Yeah. Humankind City. If you search literally just Humankind City, you'll find 2 videos that I would recommend. The first one is the very first result for me. It's my Ancient Era tutorial that I made when the game first came out. It's pretty good. And then there's a follow-up called Your Cities Need These Improvements. It's the first 5 words, and the thumbnail really says it all. Make better cities. That one's pretty self-explanatory. I'd recommend those two from memory. And there is a slightly more recent one as well, which has a little bit more of a casual style to it. Also not a bad shout. So yeah, there you go. Okay, in terms of this tier, as I say, it kind of sucks. Seeing as we're warring all the time, let's do the gluttonous +1 land movement speed, and also minus 10% industry cost. So we can build units at a 10% reduction. Also, I'm very gluttonous, so that just kind of feels like a win on its own merits and in its own right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Preach. Texas ambivalent. What does a Texas even look like? I don't know. I'm not worldly enough. What's a Texas? Okay, we've grabbed that thing, which is all good. Sorry, I just got slightly distracted with the chat. The banes. The banes of live life, huh? And now I'm accidentally watching Humankind's live stream instead. I'll make sure to like that video as well. Gotta do it. Texas is, I'm being told, my correspondence, again, not my words, I'm being told a large waste of land. Big mood. Okay, send the healthiest horse onto the flag. And then, I don't know, chief. I don't know about that move. Maybe this move? No, we can't attack there. Okay. They'll move likely onto this river and attack that unit. Oh, wow, okay. They're just going to stay on the low ground. Well, I don't like this. Hey, we did it! The kamikaze! The kamikaze horseman. No, run! Oh, shit. Now I've got these guys chasing after me too. Although, they seem kind of out of date. Maybe we could just chase them down if we heal this guy. I don't know. Either way, there's a success story surrounded by defeat. And here again, just going to end round. Let the boat sail back and forward and end round again, with now through another 6 turns of the siege of San Lorenzo. There could be some versatility and use in building another city. It would put me pretty far over my city cap. But I wonder if I quickly build a city here, a new city, and spam some units out of it. It's a bad idea, but it could help me win the war. I'll think about it. It's maybe a last-ditch thing. Or, if I can unlock military architecture, I can begin to merge cities together. And that should also make the process a little bit easier. I'll step to the high ground with these 4. Try and scare them off. Didn't work. Not having a bar of my scare tactics, clearly. 5 industrialists ain't enough to build the crossbow any quicker. So the science gain is also incredibly minimal. Let's just keep people on food. Get Urks pumped up full of full of food. We might actually also give it a helping hand. At the cost of stability, I acknowledge. But we'll give it a holy site to make up for it. Amazing. And I'll do it in a turn as well, just so that it doesn't hold up too much of the war efforts or anything else, except for, ironically, in the city itself, because we need that extra dude. This unit made it back to base. It's going to heal up and think about what it's done. And we'll give it a anti-cavalry friend once the obelisk of the gods has had enough industry pumped into... Yeah, actually, it's fine. We'll get the anti-cavalry dude first. And the cheesiest fight of all time. Parmesan go crazy after this fight, let me tell you. Oh, good evening, Valensky. Hey. A very good evening to you. Hey, also, by the way, we're nearly at 800 followers on Twitch. Thank you for following. A couple of people followed. Every night, overnight, there are always a couple of people who follow. They must come across me on Twitter or YouTube or something and find their way here. You guys don't get shoutouts, but I appreciate it. I notice the follower number ticking up every day and really appreciate that. Likewise on YouTube, of course, as well. 20,000 subscribers is the next big marker. We're likely to hit it next month, but YouTube is such a fickle beast. It's pulled the rug out from under me before, and also it's elevated me up before, so we'll play it by ear and really broadly say it'll probably happen this quarter. Or next quarter, depending on how you quarter things. Okay, one more turn of these units standing here and not reinforcing. Fantastic. You know what's going to happen though, don't you? They're going to declare war immediately again. Yep, look, there it goes again. They lost the siege. They're immediately doing it again. I think I might have discovered a little bit of a glitch in the matrix here. Also, the fact that there are two flags is incredibly confusing. It's got to be said. Either way, hide and hold. Sorry, you're going to have to watch me click end round many times today. Good luck. Helping you on your way any way I can. Oh, everybody who's here has done that. I'm so grateful. But also, hopefully it's not just you helping me, but also hopefully along the way, I'm helping you as well. Whether you're learning something new, having some entertainment at the end of an awful day, or treating me like a bit of a podcast, which apparently people do. Just play it in the background while they're hooning along in their car or doing the dishes. And either way, I love it. And also, I know for a fact that people have met friends I have. So there's loads of extra benefits to building a community that are hard to quantify and value and assess, because they're so individualized, and they're qualitative as well. And those are the things a lot of the time that if you focus on those, I find it highlights everything that is good. Speaking of everything that is good, this fight is not, but I'm about to lose this, so let's scare them off. Actually, it's quite a advantageous high ground position that I can hold here, though. So let's just hold this. Unfortunately, they're going to be able to double attack me with the archer, but the archer's going to get itself destroyed in one turn or less if it's not careful. We'll just try and brute force our way through. Maybe send the fast and agile Gothic cavalry unit. Piece of crap. Out around the outside, round the outside, round the outside as well. Keep this unit here ready to replace this one. This pikeman when it perishes. Yeet this horse back this way. Send this mad lad in for another stab. One unit hasn't even been deployed because it's stuck on this tile, but that's okay with me. And the fight will go for another turn. But we've saved our outpost, and we likely win that fight, so I'm not mad at that. Let's roll. Thanks, Walensky, you're awesome. You're awesome. I also, while I'm live streaming, I also see people who have their YouTube subscriptions set to public, or their Twitch follows set to public. I also get inside notifications inside of my streaming software when people subscribe, which I don't normally get. So it's always also fascinating to be like, oh, lots of people on YouTube have subscribed today after watching the stream. Or of course, also it goes both ways, right? Other times it's like, huh. Clearly today's one, not so hot. And then And then, of course, you go down the rabbit hole of thinking, well, why? What went wrong? What could be better? And you go through that, like, evaluation process, if you're me. We've been bankrupt for far too long, and it's hurting my yields, it's hurting my resources. It's hurting the bottom line more than anything. What you should notice is that it'll scale up, though, once we get our hippodromes? Hippodomes? I don't know. Once we get those online, it should be fine. Oh, boy. Oh, shit. Okay. So something bad has happened. Reinforcements have arrived, and they're great swordsmen at that. We got them down to about half war support. I don't think that reduces the reparations we have to pay, which, to be honest, kind of doesn't actually make a lot of sense to me. You would think they would be a little more desperate. However, they're not. So we'll hold this fight. We've got plenty of war support behind us, so we can let it drag on if we lose Laputh. Seeing as we're about to lose Laputh, I'm going to go for this emergency city action that I was teasing before. We're going to get... everybody on food and industry as much as we can. Let's get 23 food district down straight away for 2 people. Whoop! Nice. We'll also get this district down maybe for 27 gold for 3 people. Whoop! Nice. A garrison would be useful because we need more tiles to stand on. However, I also need to start building the army here. I think I will spend a turn on a high ground garrison next to the city. And then a couple units along the way. Oh, I hope this works. Wonder if I want to give it an extra thing as well. Maybe not just yet. Not just yet. And it's actually time for us to move through to the next era. Seeing as I'm ahead on fame score, part of me is thinking, might be a good idea too. Is political discussion okay or not? I don't censor any discussion. So long as it's kind, and you know, and you're not just being like really mean to people for no reason. You can talk about whatever you like, Lubins. You can talk about whatever you like. So long as it's kind, I don't mind. Oh yeah, the Swahili are my absolute favorite culture in the next era as well. Totally agree. Dutch Siamese is so much fun. I mean, I can't agree on the Dutch thing, but... Oh, cool, Valinsky. Hey, nice to hear that there was some value to help your decision making too. Okay. So, you voted for the polls, which really surprises me, but you voted for the polls, on both platforms. So, no democracy got in the way, no nothing. It was just, people wanted me to play the polls. So I'll do it. And I'm gonna move through to them right now. Oh, am I? Okay, so, there are 2 main considerations here. The downside to moving through immediately is I miss out on a whole load of fame, which maybe means down the line, I lose the game. The upside to moving through, of course, is that we get the immediate benefit of taking the polls. The question is the immediate benefit of one of the worst cultures in the game useful to me? I feel like the answer could almost be yes, just because they're a militarist. Plus 10 fortification on district, and plus 2 stability on district. Actually, 2 things I kind of need. Okay, if I build 1 more district, we can get the Builder Star completed. 1 more technology will also get me a Science Star. That means it probably makes sense to stick around for 1 more turn, build 1 more district, get 1 more Science Star. Okay, so I'll stay for 1 more go. And then we'll bounce. It's gonna be painful. It's gonna be really painful. Can actually block that unit spawning in as well, which is pretty cool on this fight. Makes it way easier for us to win. Although it's actually not a great spot to stand, really, is it? What are we dealing with here? We're dealing with a swordsman with 31 strength. Got 32 there, 29 there. Okay. It's also low ground, double promoted, which is... It's double promoted, I'm on low ground. Not a great combo either way. But if we just bring everybody over here, we should just be able to overwhelm it with sheer volume, really. Stab you in because you're in the way, and then bring this horse up and finish the job. Brilliant. Take that, punk. And you know what? Because you're still standing here, and it's a 3v1, I'm going to scare you off while I'm at it. Stay away from my outposts. Now and forever, gosh darn it. As we know, this fight is now not going to go very well because I've got reinforcements. And I've got melee units as well. That's the real downside. Of course, the reinforcements don't really bother me, right? They could bring a whole lot of flaming boats and elephants with bows, but the second the reinforcements move through here, it's game over. It's game over for Laputh. Which is why, of course, we're building up this emergency option down this way. There's all those stars screaming through. And we'll keep building this. I think it'd also be a good idea to try and grab this territory in here, but we can't because it's stuck to Laputh. Disaster. Yep. It's D-Day, everybody. They've moved in. They've secured the flag. That's it. That's it. I have to retake the flag. That will force the battle to end this round, regardless of whether my unit perishes or not, although it looks like it's going to. No, you're allowed to be excited. And it's also nice to know that there was at least some underlying logic in my rationale for the Dutch. If not, a little aggressive, maybe. Yeah, so there we go. The poll concluded. 66% in the poll voted for the Poles. So many mods. So much mod chat going on! Oh, that's cool. I'm just catching up on the chats. Really interesting stuff. Really interesting stuff. Amazing. Plus incentivize you to build coastal cities, and those look cool. They do look cool. That's true. I should make a human what looks cool in Humankind tier list. That would be the real tier list. Let's get heavy infantry for this mad lad. A unit from last era. Yikes. Could be the saving grace that we need. No? Yes. Hey, speaking of the saving grace that we need, here is... Ooh. Here's a fight that I can at least win against them. Nice. Little retreat, never hurt nobody. In fact, we can actually go for a double retreat move by then scaring them away with these units. But they'll be unable to retreat, so they'll have to fight me. That means I'll get the retreat and the victory. And I'll take that flag with my anti-cavalry unit and position this other one here. How do you like me now, you big dingus? That'll teach him. continue to chop out these units. That's actually a fight that I would lose, so don't particularly want to lose that. We'll bring a crossbow down just to sort of look down at these archers and say, hey, don't interrupt my choppers, or you're next. You will be next anyway, but I'd like my choppers to finish. Actually, they've only just started. Stuff it. Let's do it. Put the crossbow at the front. Keep everybody else at the back. They'll move through the low ground. We'll likely destroy them. Give them a round to move around a bit first. Sure. Benefit of the doubt. Oh my god. There's like 1 million units here! Again, the wambush of having a city hiding in the fringes. Oh no! Hey, octopus as well. The accuracy of the avatar is uncanny. Okay. Let us clear out the trash. Oh. I'm going to be overwhelmed because I jumped into a fight that I shouldn't have. That song is probably copyright, so I can't keep going. Sorry. Huck, I'm so glad about that. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. By the way, the Vok warehouse is that hard to be placed when you already have hamlets and can relocate outposts prior to constructing them. The relocate outposts is true. Although, I wonder how many outposts do you have not established, and how much have you missed out on by not establishing them, okay? What's the opportunity cost of leaving outposts unconnected and unestablished so that you can relocate them is the first thing I would throw at that, Valensky. And then the second thing that I would say is if you have to research hamlets to build your unique, which you do, and then you have to, or to build it properly, and then you have to place your hamlet in what is likely to not be the best spot for it. Why? Because you're probably placing it near your harbour, which is near coastal water, and that might not have a lot of great yields, right? Generally, your hamlet is better placed inland, surrounded by a whole load of forests, rather than on coastal tiles, which tend to be worse. So not only are you first putting a precondition on yourself that you have to research, build another district before you can get your unique, so the cost is twice as high as just being able to place a good unique like you normally would be able to. But also, you have to place what is likely to be a bad hamlet, or at least a pretty inefficient one. Think about everything that you miss out on by having to build a hamlet, then build your Dutch district. Twice the barrier to entry, twice the cost. And then the opportunity cost of building the hamlet before anything else, and also the opportunity cost of building a bad hamlet. Maybe all of those things add up and make the Dutch district, at the very least, far too slow to get online. At most, I argue, far too expensive when you take the real cost into account. Which, don't forget everybody, the real cost is, for the most part, the opportunity cost. And if you don't know what that means, it's what are you missing out on by doing this? Because time is the most valuable resource of all. Okay, I'm just gonna... This is just a disaster, so we know how this goes. Bait Jumbo by intimidating his tree chopping. Yeah, keep that in mind for the community multiplayer session. Actual yields from the hamlet aren't that important. I mean, in the same way that actual yields from any district aren't important, hamlet yields are actually usually way better than most districts. If you're thinking about building a food district and a maker's quarter, you usually shouldn't bother, because the hamlet usually combines both of them and provides additional jobs. Those jobs you'll always get, but in my opinion, a hamlet is worth 2 normal districts. A hamlet is worth a farmer's quarter and a maker's quarter. And so actually, if I extrapolate that out and really take my spreadsheet calculations to the extreme and really fill you in on all the gory detail, if I consider a hamlet to be worth twice as much as a normal district, I then consider the Dutch VOC to be worth 2.75 times a normal district in terms of its opportunity cost. I'm pretty sure that's the number. It might have been like 2.82 or something. I can't quite remember. But it was just shy of 3 was the opportunity cost, where the main standard is of course just above 1, because you can't have anything below 1. So the average is just above 1. It's important to note. But yeah, either way, again, just my opinion. You're totally welcome to disagree. But I think that if you calculate and factor in all of the opportunity cost, which I tried to do, the Dutch district is incredibly costly. And at the end of the day yields gold, which is useful, absolutely. I'd way rather have it yield gold than faith, but I would also way rather have it yield industry than gold. Actually, no. Way rather is an overstatement. Gold is much closer to industry, I think. Oh my god, what is going on here? I've been rambling and now I've got this incredibly strange disappearing act of an event. So it looks like I can get stability and lose stability. I can get stability and lose stability. I can get industry and lose money. We're actually about to come out of bankruptcy, but I'm just going to go for legalize. We lose stability in one place, but we gain it somewhere else. Let's get tree choppers tree chopping with as many units as we can in this city, because we are just about to lose Lapeuth. Wait, what? What happened with Lapeuth?
You come to talk?
Why do I still have this? Oh, okay, well this is a... This isn't quite how I thought that would go. Okay, sure, I'll keep it for an extra turn. Suits me. Let's see if we can hunt down some, or at least get some vision range over where the opponent might be. If we can find the odd unit, I'll absolutely pounce on it. Speaking of pounce on, you've got just enough stability that I can force you in here. Nice. Speaking of pounce on, here's that pounce on I was talking about. Oh, wicked. Oh my god. Okay. Right, what I'm doing here is chasing down, or, you know, trying to get some vision. But I don't actually want to stray too far away from Ben Shashiti, so we'll just keep these units here, stationed. Sort of looking about. Trying to find some Freunde. These units... Ooh, I was gonna say, they should get back here, but nope. Because here's another fight that I can win! Let's insta-resolve, insta-success that one. I don't think you need to see me manually controlling that. And what's going on over here at Lapeuth? For whatever reason, they've stopped attacking. And so they're going to slowly lose war support because they declared a war and they were very close to me. Now, that's a long time to wait. It's about 16 turns, but still, that's good. Okay, I'm told that we might have some visitors joining us soon. Potentially quite a lot of them on Twitch. So, what I'm going to do, because I'm about to wet myself, is quickly go for a break, grab a drink, we'll be back, we'll carry on with this game, and I believe we might have a whole load of friends from Amplitude potentially joining us soon. So that's pretty exciting. Hey, I'll throw us onto a proper BRB screen so that there's no confusion. Where did he go? Why is he silent? Throw us onto the... BRB, not a coffee break. And I'll see you in a minute. Thanks, everybody. Don't go away. Whew. It's so hot. Hey, I'm back. What did I miss? I actually still haven't lost this game, Artisan, yeah. No need to apologize for grammar. English sucks. English is the most stupid language. Whoever designed it, I don't know. It's awful. It's awful. It makes no sense. It just makes no sense. We need to swap to that global language. Anyway, let's swap back onto the right screen so that we all know what's going on. For some reason, I'm really puffed. We're back. Oh. And I'm just gonna, I know some people like this, some people don't, but I'm just gonna quickly check in on the numbers and see how many of us are here today and what we've done so far. Like target? Did somebody say 50? We're at 44. 45! Thank you! Yes, Al. I believe so. Okay! Let's get the show on the road. Get this shite show on the road. Alrighty. War support check-in is a good thing to start when you've just come back from a break. 33. Yep, that hasn't changed. Next thing to check in on will be how we have everybody deployed and where they need to be. I note that they took this territory from me. These yellow bastards. But right now, unfortunately, I just do not have the time, effort, energy, or resources to put into chasing down those DBs. So instead, I'm going to focus on the task at hand, which is firstly a starving Ben Sus city. So if I end the turn and shoot 3 people out of it, it will at least have some room to grow. Speaking of room to grow, we might smash a whole load of infrastructure that should have been here many years ago. What is the year, actually? It's currently 298 BCE, and we're in the medieval era. So, all things considered, pretty good going. We are, of course, still in first. I say of course, as if it... Okay, for clarity, I said of course, not because I'm the best player in the world and I'm always in first. Regular viewers will know that's seldom the case on Humankind difficulty, but instead because of that gold, right? If there's a gold banner underneath, you know you're in first. So, it was a predetermined... it was a predetermined result! Okay, Khmer would like to... What did we just agree with them? Okay, we've agreed not to fight them. And we're getting 1 T off of them. Really? Really? The JumboPixel's coming out in chat. Likes are purely on the YouTube side. Yeah, if you're on Twitch, you do not need to worry about that. You are golden already. You're golden! You're golden. Okay. Oh, shit. They've decided to attack... Laputi? Sorry, I always say your name wrong. Oh, that is ugly. All we've got is these old bearded men with what I thought were berets, but actually doesn't look like it. That does not look like a beret. It looks like a... I don't even know. Either way, they're peasants, they're holding a sickle, they've got 28 combat strength. Are they going to be able to defend the city against an massive tide of incoming units? No. So... let's keep that in mind. Let's position them in places where it makes sense to attack from. I think that's these 2 tiles, because they're higher up than these ones. This one, because it's got high ground over the flag. And this one, because it's got high ground... Now, the downside is both those 2 are on rivers. So is this guy, and he kind of doesn't need to be. So maybe we move him there and try and bait them into coming into these 2 tiles. And then we just go, wham bam, thank you ma'am. Let's try it. It's a disaster, but to be honest, I expected to lose the city like a thousand turns ago. On Twitch, you can subscribe to a streamer for free if you have Amazon Prime. That is true! Amazon Prime! Or you can subscribe for like $3 a month or something as well. But yeah, if you've got Amazon Prime, Slap it on me, baby. Jeff the Thunderman. Hey. A little while since I've seen you. Welcome. A great name, too. Jeff the Thunderman. There shall be no others. Only Jeff. Don't lose this beautiful city. Oh my god, no! The pressure! Yeah, walls are great. Walls are great. As the Poles, we get extra district fortification regardless, but walls are also great. So much so that that is actually an advantageous move. I should have moved to those tiles. I think you're right, Clifford. I should have. I should have held those two rather than high... Oh, well, actually, it's probably just this one that is a bit lame. So why don't we get you... outside of the walls feels a bit daft. Why don't we get you back here in reserves and come back to you? The crossbow is going to destroy me like there's no tomorrow, and I have no way of destroying it unless we want to send one unit to come and help. Feels bad, man. I think I might just roll over. No! Not your beautiful city! And you're here in chat as well. I'm sorry. Also, in a couple of minutes, maybe in 5 minutes time, we'll launch a new poll to determine who we should play after the polls. And oh my god, I forgot to get the polls. That is a huge issue. You voted for the polls as the worst culture in this era, and I said that I would grab them as soon as I got those previous era stars. I got those stars, and then I forgot to grab them. So, let's take the polls. Thankfully, because we're in war times, each individual turn tends to take a bit longer. So, we probably didn't miss out on too much, is what I'm trying to sort of justify here. It's a stretch, I know, it's a stretch. Imagine if the AI renamed your city. I think we'll take it back off them though, don't fear. If we lose it. I mean, the whole reason why we established this city was to do just that. Last Zulu, for your generous donation to the stream earlier. I noticed you also subscribed on YouTube, so thanks. This is our last line of defense, a city named after you. Brilliant. Oh, God. Why do bad things happen to average people? Let's see what the AI wants to do with this. Because we're gonna lose it anyway. Wow. Really? That was the move? That was the move. We had 3 units. I put it on auto, right? Let the computer do it. And the computer was just like, sends everybody uphill, upriver, at this great swordsman, and they just died. Disaster. Oh dear. We probably only lost 1 extra turn of occupation of LP, so it's not the end of the world.
It's a time of discovery. Often the Poles are chosen for their striking winged hussars. The hidden bonus is that they come with pierogies.
I hope they let us keep the internet as well. That'd be a disaster if they don't. How will we even do this? We'll have to post letters to each other with, like, screenshots. That's it. It's the only way to do it in a non-internet world, I think. God, imagine. The Dark Ages. This thing could be very useful for us as well here to defend this city. Let's place it atop a hill. So it gets +2 influence on emblem. Alright, so that's fine. It gets +3 combat strength in or adjacent to the district. In that case, maybe I forego a good tile. Sorry, industry. We smash it down right there. I'll throw some money at it because I've got cash, and we need extra tiles for our peasants to stand on anyway. We'll then try and jump up to the high ground, I think, because this is going to be the spot to defend, right? The city is actually not really in a very good defendable place. It's built on these low ground plains with massive mountain ranges up behind it. Oh shoot, they took my mausoleum of Halicarnassus. Oh, we are absolutely taking that back. Yeah. Okay. We should have some freed up units here now as well, after this little bit of a disaster. So we'll march them out and get them replaced. With 1, 2, 3 very standard, but still pretty good units. Alright. Question before we start the poll in chat on who we should play in the industrial era. Any suggestions to begin with? Any at all? And yeah, so fair. So fair. I'm just watching the chat, by the way, responding to the chat. If you're wondering why is he just randomly saying so fair. I'm responding to the Discord chat. The chat about Discord. Either way, let's just get this up so that I know what I think. It should be the worst. I have a rough idea. It's been a little while since I did the industrial era tier list, because it was one that I sort of wanted to jump on last year. There are actually it's a surprisingly powerful but also a little bit weak era 2, really, isn't it? There's sort of two different levels that are at play, I think. Some names that we should probably be considering are Italians, British, either Italians or Austro-Hungary, British. I'm not sure about the Ethiopians, but I don't think they're that bad. There's a couple of pretty lackluster ones in there as well. The Mexicans and the Russians aren't super special, but I don't think they're necessarily bad. It could make them underplayed, though. Could make them underplayed. Yeah. In seriousness, the internet could not go away. The world requires it. Everybody wants the internet, regardless of your political... Well, you know, of course there's always going to be a very small portion that... It's going to be a small subset. But you'd struggle to find a nation state... Okay. You'd struggle to find 99% of nation states and interests in the world not look to prioritize protecting the internet above a load of other priorities. I think we can rest easy on that front, in seriousness. Okay. Don't worry. Dark Ages are not cometh. Mark my words. It's a very safe bet for me to make, because if they come, you'll never talk to me again anyway. Ha! Oh, that's kind of sad. Either way, should we get some more districts down? No. I want infrastructure, and I want units, gosh darn it! We've already got most of the infrastructure except for a manuscript. Man, you're a bad infrastructure. Let's get this smashed down there. Nice! A wonderful spot for a little Polish castle. It'll help my stability, it'll help my influence a little bit, but in reality, our garrison's not just wildly better. Yeah, kind of. This district is okay. It's very okay. Get 4 units to replace there too. Crossbow. Yes! And don't worry everybody, reinforcements are on the way. They're just a little bit slow and sometimes they get stuck fighting really aggressive neighbors down here. But for the most part, all is good. What's the play here? These cities. We could try and stop this overreach, which is unlikely to be defended up this way. Let's try it. Let's move along the Congo with our Congo over here. I was not gonna do it, but then I thought, oh, surely. It's like the easiest pun in the world. So I'll Congo over this way, and we'll try and launch, if we can, a counterattack. But ideally, actually, what I would prefer to find is 1 or 2 purple units marauding around that I can get some extra war score off. we're losing -4, they're losing -2. We can actually still win this war on current standings because we built up enough war support at the start. Now, I'd rather conclude it a little faster than that, but not terrible. Something to consider at the very least. Ooh, finish that garrison in 1 turn with the extra industry workers, super useful. Let's put the city on priority industry, and then just leave it at that, actually. Stuff it. Okay, we're gonna send some peacekeeping troops up this way, and try and see what we can rustle up. Neutral tribes are fleeing in fear. As they should. Didn't they see how horrifically I lost down here? Oh, yikes. Okay, I'm fleeing as well. I don't want a 66, but this is what I want. If this unit steps away from the city a bit further, we will pounce on it like there's no tomorrow. Now, my science is getting real bad. And that's not actually funny or exciting. Let's try and unlock chivalry for the hamlets. Again, sort of mid-technology, middle of the medieval era. Not too late, but also not early. That puts me pretty far behind, considering I'm in the early modern era now. However, can't be choosers. Really insightful chats. Thank you for being so clever and not rude to one another. I knew you wouldn't be, but still, it's nice. It's really interesting chat too. $200 for an extra army is just falling over myself to get that online. I think it was just a crossbow. Not the end of the world. And here we have it. They've moved on from Laputh, the absolute war-torn mess of a city. Look at all these walls. Oh, we need to unify this nation and tear down these walls. Okay, I'll manually fight you. I've got many units. Let's get, who do we want at the front line? Not the archers, right? Let's keep the archers at the back. Well defended. Please. And at the front line, I think we'll put our peasants, who are, nobody tell them, cannon fodder. Okay? So we'll move them to the front. Behind them we'll have a row of archers tucked away at the back here. Crossbows, mind you. And then we do need to keep some units here to ensure that they don't flank around and take down the city. And hey, welcome in! A huge welcome to the wonderful people who are rating us from Amplitude Studios. Hey, hello! Look at that, the official Amplitude account itself. Everybody, be on your best behaviors, or so help me, I will turn this stream around. Thanks so much! Rogan, we really appreciate it. Cheers for the stream. I watched about the first 15 minutes of yours this morning as I was getting mine ready. It was all I could muster, but I love it. Thanks so much for your kindness. Super appreciate it. And you know what? To reward your kindness, we're going to try and win this fight. I hope you had a great stream. And just again, a huge warm welcome to the 57 rating party of viewers who are tuning in today over on Twitch. It's really awesome to have you here. Hey, Raiders. Actually, so far so good. Just as a really quick recap, if you're joining us and you're wondering who is this loud person and what's going on, I'm JumboPixel, and we are playing a max Humankind difficulty, like Civ Deity, game today. We're in the early modern era at the moment as the polls, and despite being on max difficulty, we are somehow managing to just hold first place. The other thing to note is that we've been playing what chat vote as the worst, quote-unquote, cultures in every era. And while I've disagreed with them twice so far, it'd be fair to say we've at least been playing cultures that people haven't really used as much. Those less seen or less known. Who have we played? We played the Hittites in the ancient era. We've bounced through a couple of other militarists and landed here with the Poles. Not a bad place to land. And I do not like this. We're versing units that are between sort of 40 and 30-ish combat strength. My peasants, of course, not so excited about that. But the rest of my units, like my crossbows and stuff, once they get close to the front and the peasant fodder is removed out the way, they should be okay. I might actually, in the meantime, just chuck one of them up the front to start dealing a little bit of extra damage here, right? The crossbows are more vulnerable when they move to the front line, so they're going to take bigger hits, but hopefully because they're behind the walls, we might be able to leverage a bit of their strength here. So, in that light, I'm going to move them toward the front. If I was... Oh no, we've got 3 boats. If you're just joining us as part of the Amplitude raid, and if you're not, then you'll know why we've got them. Because I chose that event that rewards us with a unit, hoping that I would get some gunpowder units, but instead the game has duped me and given me 3 boats outside of this city, just to really rub salt into the wound. Alright, I guess I'll just look intimidating with my boats. The gun platform, mind you. Maybe we can get a bit of value if they decide to come around on the flank. Okay, good. Everybody else is kind of interested at the moment in just holding their ground, so I won't march in and do any low ground moves. Let's just hold and see what kind of damage we take. Meanwhile, we should also zoom out and have a look. Oh, cheers. And have a look at the wider world. We're at war with our neighbour. It's green v purple in an ultimate showdown of greatness. And then over on this continent, there's a whole load of mess going on. I don't really know what's there. We're playing against AI subscriber personas as always. If you want to share yours with me, you can just tweet it at me. Okay, they're starting to move now. They've finished doing their battle planning. It looks to me like it was a pretty unsuccessful round of battle planning. Now, don't forget, these knights cannot get over my walls. So... fronting them here like this is completely irrelevant, and I should just stop wasting my time. I got my gunner boats here, ready and waiting if anybody wants to push the coastline, and slowly moving my crossbows, eeping them toward the front line. I suspect this unit will run there, and then these crossbows will go pew pew and just destroy it. So let's watch that play out. Oh, it ran away instead. Okay. Not sure if that's a better result or a worse result. Let's have a look. See what it's doing. 25 v 25. That's not a move that I'll do again. I will, though, maybe bait it with this one and fire at their crossbow, right? Because let's not forget, the knight can't get over the walls, so all of these melee units are feeling pretty happy and comfortable and safe back here. However, these archers, these ranged units, they're the real threat. Because they can fire over the top of the walls and shoot my poor peasants, right? So we'll try and take them out as quickly as possible. And I'm willing to sacrifice some peasant... I'm willing to sacrifice a peasant for the good of everybody else. Likewise, I think I'm going to try and wrap this up sooner rather than later. I want to wrap it up this turn if I can. I can't. And just try and sort of push the aggression a bit. That'll do 2 things. It'll free up my units for future turns and allow me to heal them or whatever. But maybe more importantly, by wrapping it up sooner, I'll be scaring them away quicker, which will mean that they will have a much lower chance of being able to reinforce, right? Because I can take out these 3 units comfortably. But if they start reinforcing out of Laputh, which is this city, then I'm going to be in big trouble because my nearest reinforcement is 2 or 3 turns away. You can probably hear the blacksmith clanging away, making their swords right now. That's how close they are to us. So we need to keep that in mind. Try and get the high ground on this guy. No range on these boats. They're entirely useless. Let's skip you back into the comfort of your own home. And fire at the enemy. I'll shoot the horse because I can't really shoot anyone else. Stabbity stabbers? Pretty decent, actually. Sure. Not so much there. And because this is a ranged unit, it actually will take more damage than you would think from these relatively weak melee units. So we're going to do the old 3v1 and get that bad boy tidied up next round. And we're away laughing. Oh yeah, hey, thanks Arachnidork for the content shout out as well. I do indeed also try and cover Humankind outside of live streams, right? Because there's a lot of value that can be added from either guides and tips, but also just, I think, personally, I think, a lot of the value add also comes from my coverage of game updates or stuff like that too. At least for me, as a viewer, that's the kind of stuff that I super appreciate. Because sometimes when there's a wave of information about a game, like it's a patch update, or it's a DLC update, or whatever it might be, even just some massive developer interviews, honestly, can shed a lot of information on something. Either way, it can be a lot to digest, and I personally find it really helpful if some content creator sits down with it for a few hours, goes through it, and then provides me with a summary in 8 minutes. And that's why I do it for Humankind. Literally, that is my motivation, because as a viewer, I like it. And it seems to people seem to generally find value in it as well. Let's dogpile this guy. Oh no, it's so bad. It's so bad. But, again, with overwhelming numbers and high ground shots with a crossbow. Come on, one more of you, please, anybody. Yes! And thank you to Mega Game who followed on Twitch. I really appreciate the raid, and if any of you who have raided would like to follow along, I would super appreciate that too. We're at 792 followers on Twitch. Our current goal is 1,000. And on YouTube we're at around 17,000 subscribers, and our goal there is 20,000. I'm a sucker for round numbers, I'm sorry. I just am. Oh, and Niko followed as well. Your follower number 792. Not a bad number. Okay. Do I want to push this aggression? I probably just want to bring some crossbows within range, right? My last 2 crossbows. And then we can just go pew 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 and fire away. We hold the flag, so that's all that counts, really. Very successful defense. And here are 3 replacement crossbow, or 2 replacement crossbows, to fill in for the 2 that were lost. Brilliant. The Khmer would like to trade everything. This is usually good because strategic resources provide food and industry to semi-developed cities. Unfortunately, they've only got 1 horse. Not a lot to write home about, really, is it? Oh. And I was unable to run away from this fight. I'm gonna run away now, though. No! Everybody get out of there! Okay, we're gonna take the one-time war support hit, and it will be a massive one-time hit from retreating, but we're gonna try and spin it on them and get them to retreat twice and balance it out, okay? And our target for that is gonna be this single unit right here. I'm really now worried about these guys because they retreated the wrong way. Don't you know you were meant to retreat toward the city? Idiot. Just idiotic. Okay, this dude's gonna stand up on this river, which is kind of funny. Let's hold the flag with our anti-cav and then step back with our own cavalry. Ooh! Hopefully they'll move for the flag rather than that unit. No! That's okay. That's okay. I'll hold the flag and defend and we'll win this fight. That's the plan. It's gonna go for another round. If they reinforce that fight, I'll be very sad. I'll be a sad man. On the bright side, this is gonna be a fairly easy one. So we'll just go pew 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 and end the round. Is it worth, I wonder, yeeting somebody up against those walls to try and Like, we could send a peasant or something. Sure, go on. Go have a look, see what they're doing. Like a really crappy homing pigeon. Far. And brilliant. The siege of Last Zulu was successfully defended. We're going to very quickly cheese out some extra health for these units. Because why would you not? Upgrade into our... Ooh. Varangian Guard. It's actually our strongest unit by a long shot now. Unfortunately, it has the honor code, which prevents us from retreating, which I consider to be a bit of a debuff, but otherwise not too bad. It's going to be a lot stronger than the crappy swordsman that it was replacing, I'll tell you that much for free. And we're going to launch our counter-strike on Laputhi. Maybe next turn. Wow. Let's get some of these absolute berserker-looking mad lads built in the capital. And also in Reed, Anaka, as well. Nice. My first priority is to make sure that these units don't get ambushed, which they very well could. We're going to bring them over the river and onto high ground right next to this city, which 4 units are, and 4 pretty underpowered units, are unlikely to be able to take. I guess I could do some pillaging while I'm here. 433 gold, and I receive a bit of extra combat strength when I pillage as well. That's baited them into fighting me. I don't know if that's a fight that I actually want to trigger though. Let's focus in on this one, because this is one that looks quite good. I don't want to stab up from the high ground, so I'll just defend and hold the flag. Oh, they are reinforcing this fight. Okay. We just have to hold for another round, right? So, there's not another unit here. They can only attack me from 2 tiles. I want to hold the flag, so I'm going to stay on the low ground. Here's round... Oh, shoot. No, it's been extended for another turn. Okay, we're losing that fight as well. We do have our emergency exit button if we want to hit it. I don't know if we do, but we have it there if we need it. Let's first see if this counter-strike, CSGO, has any promise. I could be really spiteful and burn down the mausoleum of Halicarnassus. But it would actually only cost 28 gold. So, might not do that. War support is going up and mine is going down, but we still have that little backlog that we built up earlier that will hopefully carry us through. Let's send the stupid boats over as well, because they are gunner platforms. So even though I call them stupid, there's probably a lot of value here, actually, in sailing them around to Laputhi. Double strike, I think we take this back no trouble. Dare I say. Barbarians are ever aggressive. Could rent this army of knights and pikemen for 600 buckaroos. Sure. One of us. Let's take down these guys with it. That looks good. I should have held my ground rather than ran down into the river with them, but it was enough to scare them off. The one-time retreat will, of course, slap them with a -5 penalty on their war score for being cowards. Speaking of cowardice, here is potentially another way that we can smash them with another -5. You see where I'm going with this? Huck the Whisperer. Thanks for whispering. I appreciate your whispers. Let's narrow in on... You know, actually, we could go for gold and take San Lorenzo as well, but I think I should temper my expectations and walk into a completely undefended Laputhi. Well, that was pretty easy. Okay, Laputh is ours. Brilliant. Welcome back. Part of the family, one of us. Work on its stability, I suppose. Maybe also give it a nice church down by this city so that they share the mutual benefit of having cities that provide, districts that provide, rather, fortification and stability and all sorts of cool stuff. I should also remember that the bonuses from the extra stability on districts and all that kind of stuff is really valuable to me. So these districts are better than they look to the untrained eye, maybe. Maybe. These guys are going to trap themselves in a really bad place if they move this way. If they move here, they can't really get out, so we're just going to close in on them next turn. Okay, what do we do next? You know the drill. We're going to step inside of our walls, obviously, because there's no need to fight these units in an open field. So let's just bring the whole gang back, or close enough back anyway, to be within range. Give this army one extra crossbow. Now we've got 2 berserkers and 2 crossbows. It's probably enough by itself to take out these 6 units, but we'll see. Varangian guards. Let's step them to the front. Bring my crossbow outside of the walls, which is a bit risky, but it's got a high ground spot and it's shooting down at their deploy zone. So I'm going to try and sort of weaken that unit quite a bit. That way this unit will deal less damage next turn and the crossbow may have a better chance at surviving ultimately. Then what we're going to do is scream in with these knights that we rented. The beauty about these units is I care considerably less about them, right? Cannon fodder. I mean, I paid $600 for them, so it's like a turn's worth of gold, mind you. Probably not the end of the world. So I'm just going to swamp down, trap them in this little corner, and see what they've got to offer. They can't even deploy because there are so few tiles. You'll see there are 2 units literally stuck underneath this other one, standing on top of them with very heavy feet. Very heavy feet. Oh my goodness, Franklin, I completely missed your super chat. I'm so sorry. I'm going to replay that right now because I think I must have missed it in the hype of being raided by Amplitude Studios. So I'm just going to replay that for you because I'm the rudest person in the world. Franklin Haley, thank you for a $10 super chat on YouTube. My goodness, I feel so bad. Oh my god. Franklin, sorry I missed it for 10 minutes. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Franklin with a $10 super chat says simply #give Jumbo an avatar. And I also appreciate that support. And Octopus, to answer your question, I played Counter-Strike maybe like 10 years ago. I don't often have a huge amount of time outside of this to play a lot of other games, but I do like shooters. My favorite ones over the years, I mean, COD is such an easy one to jump into, so is Battlefield, right? You want to play a shooter, you can jump into those and play a lobby and it's fine, and I like them. They're good products, I do think. I went through a massive Overwatch phase, though. Which I know is technically maybe not quite the same shooter that you were thinking, but I went through a massive Overwatch phase a couple of years ago. It's probably the game with guns that I have the most time in, anyway. Aside from open world, you know, GTAs, that kind of thing. Okay. Hope that answers your question. Bit of an odd answer too, probably. Attack there. Then what we'll do is... Oh no! Actually, that was really dumb. Oh, disaster. What we want to do is clear a spot for somebody to move through into. And we can't do it because we've used all of our attacks. So, unless you can move somewhere and fire, which you can't because everybody's too far away. See, it only has one proper range, so not a lot I can do. We'll just keep pushing in the pressure, squeeze them down into this corner. We will actually do the proper squeeze and just move right in on them like this. Crossbow will deal a simple 1 damage, And that'll let our anti-cavalry pikemen slam through on this horse. I think we'll block the spawn. And this is a bit of a pro-gamer move. We're blocking it so that these 2 units won't deploy in this battle, and we'll be able to trigger another battle against them. Right now. After first, of course, healing my weak units. Because, obviously. We'll trigger another battle, they'll retreat, and that'll give me, that's right, a little bit more war support. You'll see they lost 8 for losing, and then because I enabled those 2 units to hang around and be their own army, I was able to trigger an additional fight against them in the same turn, and get another -5 on them. So we slapped him with -13 in a single turn. How do you like that, Dusk? Huh? Amazing. The gamification of the war score system is real. See ya, Arachnadork. Thanks so much for tuning in. Trying to adjust to this new bizarre time zone for 10 days. Yeah, I'm sorry. I live on a tiny little rock on the wrong side of the world, and it makes time zones very difficult. I appreciate you hanging out. I really do. Especially on Twitch as well, because, you know, we're trying to grow Twitch to be not the same as YouTube, because the YouTube is much bigger, and that would be unrealistic. But I'd like to grow Twitch to at least be kind of on par with YouTube. So on a day where there are 50 or 75 people watching on YouTube, ideally, my goal for maybe the end of the year or something is to try and make it so that the Twitch viewership is roughly equal in terms of live streams. Because that way, both platforms are the same. It just makes everything a whole lot easier. And also, of course, dare I say, opens up the ability to be a partner. But that's more of a dream than anything. Very difficult to do. It's strikingly difficult, even if you meet the conditions. Hey, speaking of meeting the conditions, though, let's punish the aggression of our neighbor and put San Lorenzo, their capital, under siege. They're going to choose to trigger the siege instead of holding, which is great for me because that, of course, gives me control of the flag, which means I can just hide behind my walls. And that's exactly what I'm about to do. We'll hide behind the walls, bait the peasants into making pretty bad attacks, finally sink this stupid boat, and call it a day. Amazing. We'll actually even... Ooh, hello. Something to explore soon. We'll even send these units in. Now, we need to poll for the next era as well. Oh my gosh, who are we going to play in the next era? Were there any suggestions? Anybody miss the game Mercenaries? Huck jumped on it. I've never heard of it. Okay, boomer. I'm just joking. We're probably the same age. Okay. Right. Let's send these boats in like there's no tomorrow. Just surround this stupid quadrime that's been giving me hell for the last 1,000 years. See ya. If you didn't join us last time, that boat prolonged a city siege here for, in total, I think 18 turns, which is just shy of 10% of the game, and the game mimics the world, so that's like 10% of all time ever, of all recorded history, was spent being prolonged by a stupid burning boat in the sea. Nice to have that behind us. Really nice. Alright, let's push out and go for a stab, because I think these are just peasants, so... Ooh. Take siege, back siege? That one's at least even enough, so I can do that. The crossbows leave something to be desired. I don't think this move's going to be very good, but we'll see how much. We'll see if we take any damage here or not, and move that unit next time if need be, and everyone else is fine. I reckon we probably will take a little bit, but we'll. It's probably better for us to be here than not. This unit obviously can't attack because it's like over the other side of Mount Everest from us. How we can shoot at it, I don't know. This unit, though, moving on to a low-ground river, that's exactly what the crossbows ordered. We can actually, like, really sort of get the old double-team move going there as well. Let's retreat our units that have taken a lot of damage at the front line and replace them with healed boys. And let the games continue. Our boats can also... Look at that! Hey, the boats are getting value, baby! I don't regret spending 250 gold on them anymore. Actually, incredible value. I always forget the power of boats, even though I love them so much. It's just hard to prioritize them in a 4X filled with so many other interesting things to do and build and see. But, on the bright side, we're about to take San Lorenzo, end this war, and finally get on with what we need to do. Just Cause is almost mercenaries. Ah, right. Massive open world. Helicopter attacks. Vehicles. But too bright. GameStop. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anybody remember the Gamesman? Or was that just a New Zealand, Australasia? The Gamesman. There was a shop like GameStop, and like what we call GameStop in New Zealand, we call it EB Games. I'm pretty sure they're owned by the same umbrella company. But we call, in Australasia and maybe other places as well, we call GameStop EB Games. But I remember when I was younger, in the era of Nintendo, maybe Game Boy Advance SP, in and around that time, I was playing Pokemon Ruby. And I went to a shop called the Gamesman, and it was different from EB Games. And I remember it feeling weird. And I don't know if it was because it's called the Gamesman, and the name, I don't know, just didn't sit well with me. Or if it was genuinely a weird shop. But either way, it's closed, and I have no idea why. I'm gonna look it up after this. Apparently they still exist. Well, they don't exist in New Zealand. They might exist in your country, Diggest Biggest. They do not in mine. Let me have a look. The Gamesman. Thegamesman.com.au. Oh, they're in Australia. Amazing. It looks like it's the same. Looks like it's EB Games as well. No? Looks like it's also the same as GameStop. They're all just the same. Right, it's literally just a sub-branch by the looks. Wow, the Gamesman still exists. And yeah, it looks exactly the same as EB Games on their website. There we go, you learn something new every day. I'm not going to be walking into their brick and mortar store, which was more what I was referring to, but how about that? We have EB Games and the... Yeah, we used to have EB Games and the Gamesman, but we've never had GameStop. Hey, Donnie, thanks for subscribing 3 months in a row. You're awesome and I love you. Let's name a city after you. Try and name cities after super chatters. Speaking of which... Franklin D. Awesome. Thanks for your super chat. You can take that city. It's got your name all over it, quite literally. Deneb. Anybody around to save Deneb? No. I'll just ignore that for now. I don't have the resources to put into that. Let's finish this fight, finish this war, and then turn the tide over that way. Good God. I'll have to go to Australia and relive my childhood and go to a Gamesman store, even though it's, by the sounds, literally almost no different to EB Games, GameStop, and really any other word you can put in and around the word game to sell video games. Just a little paddle across the stream. Diggest Bickers is right. We call it the ditch. Oh, that's another great question. What was your first console? Oh my gosh. What was everybody's first console, if they don't mind sharing? Yeah, we do. Yeah, Diggest Bickers is right. That is absolutely local slang for the Tasman Sea. Reinforcements? Might not be needed. They may be more needed up this way. Let's send some to Franklin D. Awesome, actually. Let's send 7 troops to Franklin D. Awesome. And then keep 1 berserker standing in the capital in case these barbarians get any crazy ideas. Can't remember if it was the SNES or the Sega Genesis. Yeah, also, this is like a technicality, but does it have to be a console that I personally owned, or can it be like the family console? My first console would have been the family console, and I think from memory, well no, I know from memory because I remember playing Road Rash on it. It was a Sega Mega Drive. The Mega Drive. How cool, right? Oh, one sec. I'll be right back. Thank you for bearing with me. I just had the strangest experience, and I'm really sorry to interrupt our console chat too, because that's so fun. Where did we get to? I see talk of, well, yeah, PC, yeah. See talk of everything from Commodore 64s. Amazing. Oh, that was also one that I think was in the family, but I don't remember it. The real... Oh my god, Huck, amazing. SNES and Genesis, never. PS1 and N64 was me. In fact, all the rest of those were me too. And actually in a very similar order, except I didn't have an Xbox 360 or a GameCube. I've basically... my console journey, in terms of the home consoles, was Sega Mega Drive and then just sort of PlayStations, really. Just PlayStations. Not when they were new. For the most part, it's when they're the second oldest. So got the PS2 roughly when the PS3 came out, got the 3 when the 4 came out, got the 4 when the 5 came out, that kind of thing. And loads of handhelds as well. I was a sucker for a Game Boy. I probably had every freaking Game Boy under the sun. For like, but always like from like really fun times as well. I can remember going to what you Americans would call the pawn shop, PAWN. I want to make that really clear. I was not a child going to any other kind of spelling of that word. And finding like Game Boy Advances for like $20 because they were like 5 years old or 10 years old or something and kind of scratch. But then on the flip side, actually, I also had some really great ones. My Game Boy Advance SP was probably my favorite console I ever owned. God, I regret selling that. That was a pretty cool one. I had a red one, with no stickers on it. People who stick stickers on things like that, there's a special place reserved for you. Shots fired. It can't be as controversial as my Captain America comments, though. Sorry, Huck. And yeah, that's kind of my console journey, really. And of course, with PC, lathered throughout.
Though I am inclined to say yes.
You probably graduated high school around the time I was born. Maybe. Oh, yes, sorry. You'd like to actually see the game, wouldn't you? Thank you, Trentius. Appreciated. Ooh, got the Series XL. Is it worth it? No, not that I'm buying one. Just curious. Like, is it worth it over the S? I wonder. Either way, open borders with Khmer. We'll take that because we're trying to build up a relationship with someone. Now, unfortunately, it happens to be the punching bag of the world. But don't be fooled, because there's also a massive punching bag here that I'm... Have I not won this fight? I think I just end this because I can't even see anybody. Yeah, right, okay. They're going to try and reinforce. It's, I think, likely to be too little too late. However, I would have moved this unit back behind my walls if I was just a bit faster off the mark. Double promoted crossbows coming in, dealing big damage. Okay, yep, no, that... Rip. Also, this crossbow's about to be a big ripperoonie too. Let's send this unit here. Try and bait them over this way so that the ships can fire at them. Come on, get over here. Get within range of my gunner ships, you morons. Put the healthy crossbow at the front line. It's got, you know, it's got a little bit of, it's got a little bit of strength left in it just yet. This puppy. And you there, you can hide because you're weak. Brilliant. This is round 3. We hold the flag. I think good things will come out of this fight still. Even though these freshly promoted units are making me sweat a little around the collar, I'll admit. Just a fraction. Game Pass, best value in gaming. And that was kind of why I asked, like, is the Series X worth it? Where we live in a world where we have Game Pass and potentially noticeably cheaper Xbox consoles. And if you're using your console to just stream games, then I guess it's just additional... Is the additional power really the motivator? Is it that I want 4K, not 1080p, and I want the potential to have 4K 120, although let's be real... If you own a monitor that can run your Xbox Series X properly at 4K HDR 120 frames a second, then you're probably in a financial position where a decision between an Xbox S and X doesn't matter, and you get the X anyway, I guess. And then if you're not, that's when the whole, I wonder if it's worth it, where Game Pass is such a thing. You're right, though, the expanded library. I don't get my console games unless I have a console. But then I note that also, and it might have been what you were just talking about there, Huck, they also have that streaming thing, right? Where you don't even... But I need to look into that a bit more, because I don't know. If I do the streaming thing, whether it's the xCloud or the whatever it's called, or I could even do it through Nvidia these days, actually, with their GeForce Now, which is another service that I'm quite interested in looking into. Downside with that is, of course, it requires a whole lot of internet, but yeah, I don't know. Either way, these are just musings of a moron's mind thinking about Xboxes. TV quality, another good point. Yeah, true. If you're playing... Actually, great point. In my mind, I was imagining it would be on a monitor, but if you're playing on a big screen, then yeah, frames are actually important, aren't they? There's nothing worse playing console on a big TV and it's like stuttering and it's 10,000 frames behind. I'm just gonna hold this line. We've got extra strength. I've fought with everybody who I want to fight with. Looks good to me. End the turn. The boats are potentially the saving grace. I can't believe it. I went from throwing them out and thinking they're awful. Yeah, that's true. I also fall into the habit of saying Game Pass is free. Obviously, it's not. But I think we probably fall into the same habit for the same reason. The opportunity cost of purchasing it is so much lower than the value that it provides that it feels near free. Just because of, again, incredible value. If you have the time and means to use it, of course. If you don't, then it's not good value to you. Okay, the downside here is we're going to run out of melee units to hold the flag. We have the boats, who are clearing the way, but not really fast enough. The horses aren't even a threat, so it's actually the crossbows that I would prefer to hit here. Pew pew! Horses can't get over the walls, right? So they're not needed at all. We're gonna need melee units to step in and hold the line. So I'm gonna try and just block this incoming madness. Sail these boats to somewhere where they'll have vision over the incoming troops. Could be this spot, maybe? May as well destroy the horses while we're here. Although I note, again, not a huge amount of value from doing it because I can't get over the walls. So long as we stop these two melee units from moving on to this flag, we can hold this off for a bit longer yet, right? If I go auto... If I force these units to end and then go auto on this boat, we'll get to understand how the AI thinks about this boat. The reason why that matters is, as far as I can tell, the only real move that it could do would be to move here and kill that horse. I don't think it has vision over these because they're too far away. Like, I can't... None of these tiles is highlighting them as red. It definitely doesn't have vision. But just in case, if you're unsure, if you're ever unsure, make sure all of your units have finished their moves, whether you've forced them to finish or whether they've attacked. And then you can go auto and just kind of get a feel, right? So actually, it didn't. It sailed there and shot that way. I would have sailed right next door and shot. But it sailed there. I wonder why. I don't really know. Maybe it was to get closer to these units and the flag. Either way, it was probably a better move. Sometimes we can learn off them, even though the AI, even though I love to take the mick out of it for making some daft decisions, it also makes some really interesting ones and it'll see things that you don't. So don't discount it too much, would be my only sort of tidbit of information. I wondered if Humankind worked with a controller or not because of because it's on Stadia. Although I don't even know what Stadia is because it doesn't exist in New Zealand. But I thought maybe being on Game Pass and stuff, it might have controller support. But I've never tried it because why would I want to? Because 4X games suck without a mouse. They do! Actually, speaking of that, one that I'm really interested in seeing how they handle is Crusader Kings, which is launching on console in about 3 weeks. From the teasers that they've shown, they've definitely made changes to the UI, as you would expect. It's got some more console-friendly things, i.e. you have much less control over what you're doing, so we need to add, like, wheels for joysticks and stuff like that to try and make it a better experience. I'll be really interested to see if they can pull it off, because that game has way more information slammed into it than a normal 4X does, right? So, if they can pull it off, then, as far as I'm concerned, anybody can. How's the war support going?
What do you want?
Yeah, pretty good.
Why are you here?
This leaves something to be desired. But we have to come back and look at that next turn. Any other mad lads want to go for a fight? Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on. Send those forward that way. Send these 3 back to Franklin the Awesome. Oh no! Ben Sus City is under siege! We left it undefended and now it's been attacked. Good God. Let's just endure it. Six peasants and 3 reinforcers. Ugh. If it was just the 6 peasants, we would have taken it. With the 3 reinforcements, I'm less likely to push that. We'll try it. Try it. Horse at the front line feels a bit daft. Maybe if the peasants sack themselves into it, we might get some free kills. Try and bait them into standing on the flag, but they seem to have just captured it and bounced off it, which is a really smart play. Oh no, it's because they were clearing the way. Oh my god. Oh my god. I should have just retreated and taken the L. Ooh, that's gonna cost me a frustrating amount of war support there. Not the end of the world, but kind of annoying. I won't bother re-rolling, it's fine. That's fine. That's about to be fine. Cool. Aww. Stupid horse. The front of the... Can't fight back. Gah! Dumbass. I don't even want to watch. Yeah, get me out of here. I'm not a celebrity. Get me out of here. Okay, that's fine.
As feudal structures,
Feudal structures, brilliant. There's those hamlets. Hey, look, we can build our Dutch district soon after we build a hamlet and then build that. Oh, now they're gonna come in and try and fight the city as well. Okay. We're just gonna trade, are we? This is really interesting. This siege is actually just about to be won by me. It's so close. It's actually so close. I've got the flag. We've got 1 unit here ready to stand on it. We've got a horse that can't get to us. And they've only got 1 melee unit left. We're gonna take their dang capital, everybody! Theory X is just Windows. Lol. Although, of course, on the flip side to that, and as has already been pointed out, it is a very well optimized Windows PC built specifically to cater specifically to games made by the developers, right? And that's always, really, in my opinion, the big draw card of the console, isn't it? You know everything's going to work. You pay a relative to PC's low price of entry, and for the most part, you get good games with good performance. Here comes trouble. You just have to make sure they don't get to the flag, and everything's fine. Fire, fire, fire! Oh, is it going to be enough? I don't know. Lob 1 over there as well. There's 25. The battle's going for another turn. That will give me a chance to reinforce, but look at this. What is this?
What do you want?
I've got some money to spend. Everything's so expensive. Oof. What I'm trying to do here is pick off individual units, thin out the herd, so to speak. Grab a crossbow and last Zulu, which is struggling here. And then the city's ready to go as well. Oh boy, this is going to be a close end to this war. I really hope it pays off. Technology's way too expensive to research, it's important to note, so science is going to be a a big beeline after this.
I would imagine that with 12 militarist stars, your diplomacy is, relatively straightforward.
Okay, I see some units moved through onto this river. I'm gonna chase them down. Unsuccessfully, but we'll pincer them from Franklin the Awesome. Wasted these units' movements walking all the way over here, but maybe we'll get them to chop a tree or something so it's not all a complete and utter waste of time, and then I'll quickly manually resolve this as well. Not too worried too much about the min-max fiasco. I'll just wrap it up. There we go. Nice. Quick win. Easy. Chop down this tree while I'm here. That'll only take 2 turns, which we probably won't finish, but that's okay. And you're under siege. You're under siege. I'm under siege. This warrior's under siege. Sail that unit to somewhere where it can shoot it. Nice. On the flank. Pew pew. Pew pew. There's another warrior down. Got visibility over the flag. Looks good to me. They've got one dude hiding from the boats, which is so fair. And we've got one more turn to hold off on San Lorenzo. If we can take it, we would win. At the moment, they are very close to capitulation, everybody. We're about a fraction away. Let's defend Last Zulu, like our life depends on it, which it does. Put the crossbow at the front. Peasants everywhere. Hopefully. We just need a hold for 2 turns. I don't even want to win this. I just don't want to lose. Literally a 1,000-year siege. Oh my god. Yeah, I agree. Torrential sounds like good value to me. Sounds like good value to me. Especially for your use case. No need to attack out of these walls. We'll just hold and draw this out, fatigue them, wear them down. Their population will be turning against them. We don't want war, they'll be saying. They've taken big losses. I'm just holding. They can't even get through with the horses, so why am I shooting the horse with my crossbow? I've wondered the same thing many times, but we've destroyed it, so it's a military victory nonetheless. And actually, it's quite a good one to grab, because then I can block the spawn and maybe do some bait moves with a peasant. I don't know. Either way, we stalled it through to the next turn, so that's a success. Speaking of stalling through to the next turn, you've done it as well. Welcome to the next turn! This, I'm hoping, will be the turn that this war ends. They're at 1 war support, frustratingly. If we just eked 1 more out of them last turn, it would have been done. So all I have to do is make sure that I don't net lose any war support this turn. And war is over. Hopefully. Every city in the world of ours at the moment feels like it's under siege. They've got my entire empire under siege, and weirdly, I kind of feel like I've got theirs under siege as well. It makes no sense, but... I'm gonna walk up behind this crossbow and give it the fright of its life. Boo! And crazy dude wielding a sword just snuck up behind them. This siege unit is really weak, but I might just let it pound me for 2 rounds. 26 damage, 26 damage. Again, we just need a hold Ben City for this turn. That's it. I don't ask for much. Just a friendly siege this turn. Hey, speaking of not asking for much, how are we doing on the old like count? 55, not bad. I don't know about the Russians, Al. British, yeah. British, I think, is a good point. They're probably a good one for the poll. Zulu pairs well with the Poles, and for that reason we probably shouldn't choose them final. And also, sorry, I'm just catching up on your other questions. Hopefully you're still here. What cultures do you want to see added to the industrial era? Ooh, that's a big one. What would you want to see from the Polish people if they were in the industrial era? Another big one. I would give them the ability to spawn armies on enemy cities by triggering an uprising. Yeah, that's really interesting. And actually it probably talks to a broader point about espionage in this game. Because what you're describing to me kind of sounds like an espionage system. Could an industrial era Poland be the first espionage civ in the game? It could. I'm not sure if it would. But then again, my industrial era Polish history is not great. In fact, it's non-existent. So, yeah, why not? I think it's worth throwing some people to destroy the ranged units. Maybe not throwing them quite that aggressively. Seeing as this fight is all but won. Won. W-O-N. May as well add some insult to injury though and just tidy. Ah, bummer. Oh well. Okay, so that one's done and ended. This one is gonna go in my favor probably, so just end that, end that, end that. How did I lose that? I thought the flag was mine. Maybe because I didn't have a unit standing on it, I lost that. Are you kidding me? Looks like it doesn't matter, because we're still gonna win. Nice. This one is ended. Now my only other sort of stress point is up here. Ben's Sus City is defended, and we're good. Oh my god, are we good? Is this war finally over? Can the people put down their axes and shields and get back to living a, dare I say, normal life? Oh my god, they can. Oh, okay, sorry. Wow. We did it. We did not generate anywhere near enough war score to make them become my vassal, because we were at war for too long, weren't we, Dusk? Oh dear. But I can leverage something out of this, because clearly I was victorious! Yeah, I agree, Odlotowa. To build on Final Boss's point, I think that the features that you were describing and proposed for a Poland in the industrial era would suit more modern eras. Add in the cyber security, cyber attacks, throw some blockchain technology into the mix, the odd drone or something as well. Yeah, you could have a really interesting expanded contemporary era, or even, as we've talked about a little bit before on stream, maybe even an information era, or a post-contemporary era. A digital era. Something like that could also be added somewhere. Huck, massive proponent of splitting the contemporary. I agree. Totally agree. Took the words right out of my mouth. It must have been while I was gas bagging. Okay. If I take Bernard's Star, that really nerfs their capital. Other territories I'd like to take are probably Alberio and Chara. Don't know if there's any use in grabbing any of these other ones. So let's have a look for Alberio. Nice. And Chara. Nice. I think I'll just take all of those. Thanks very much for coming. Brilliant. Okay, let's have a look at our war spoils. How did we do? So we took back Laputh. How about it? Looking out for you. And then we severely nerfed both the Zapdos and San Lorenzo by pinching a whole load of stuff out from underneath them. That fight ended in a draw. They're going to retreat, of course, because the war is over. And I can finally focus on the task at hand, which is actually, frustratingly, an aggressive dude over this way. Ay, ay, ay. And to answer your other question, Final, sorry, they were huge questions and really great ones. Personally, I would love to see a New Zealand. It's my personal bias, but I would love to. Australia got a contemporary era culture. I feel like the jealous younger cousin who's been ripped off. I'd like to see either a contemporary New Zealand or a Maori culture that could also be contemporary, or of course, because there's more history there, you could bring that back and place it in an earlier era as well. I'm not sure how they would focus it specifically, but traditionally, 4X games who have taken the challenge on, which is only Civ 6 to my knowledge, went with a sort of a cultural route, with a bit of militarism on the side. It's probably fine. Cultural route seems good. Now, where do I send all these units? Standing around doing nothing. Let's clear out the masses, yeah. AKA, these 6 units need to get the huck out of Dodge. Smash one of these spawn points right over the other side of Ben Sus City so that we can deploy right here. And what we could also look at doing is expanding our cities, but they're built in such a stupid way. Actually, though, Demetrian can grab that one, so that's a nice easy grab. Brilliant. I probably don't need to be training a whole load of units here anymore. We can focus up on what we need to focus on. 36 food looks good. And 22 industry. I might get 2 of those. And 2 sciences as well, mate. Nah. Hamlet? Yes. Here's what we were talking about before, playing out in practice. 31. Why am I wasting my time building those districts first when the Hamlet does everything and more? Because of course it also provides, don't forget, jobs. So it's not just providing the yields that these districts would offer, but it's also providing additional jobs to traders and researchers, which those districts could not do. 7 turns for a Hamlet or 9 turns for those 2. It's a no bueno. Hamlet. OP. We'll fight this. It's a 3v3 situation. Unfortunately, though, their first mover advantage might win it for them. Yeah, actually, Final, that's another interesting point. Like, I wonder if Amplitude will take cultures the Civ route, which is to say, actually, maybe we won't add districts to all of them, and instead we'll give some 2 units and no district. Or, I don't know, 2 districts and no unit, right? There are some flexibilities within the system that could be created that don't exist right now. I don't know if they will or not, because I don't make games, so I don't know if it works from a design point, right? But you're right, it is. They could look to do that with future cultures, maybe. We're gonna lose this fight literally just because of their first mover advantage, which is a shame. Although I do have promotions now, maybe we can turn it around?
With 15 makers quarters,
It's just a sea skirmish anyway, it's not the end of the world. Ah, they took that flag, I hate them. Oh no. I took a city with 3 boats and now all of a sudden old Boat King's over here just taking everything. Oy, oy, oy. I'm 1 above my city cap, which, as we talked about before, is a pretty good spot to rest, and I probably won't change that. Flat Earth? Tell me more. Research quarters? Or science on holy sites? It's probably quite a good move. Slaves are good. Land rights? Brilliant. I love land. Let's get land rights. That'll pump a load of extra food into our cities. Because they, on average, have a lot of territories attached. In this case, the hamlets aren't very good because there are no forests, so we need to try and grab an extra territory on this city, because the city was, let's be honest, it was made in haste, and I don't know. Hilariously, though, it is probably better than all the rest. Just because it's got all the infrastructure in place. food seems to be what it does best, so let's double down on that. And then swap some scientists so that we can actually learn something. 6 weak units versus 3 rented pikemen. Might just not do that. Wait for reinforcements to arrive. I have to agree with Huck. I've also never heard anyone say 200 to 300 years. I mean, although I guess, though, if you... Here's the thing, right? If you set your parameters broad enough, you will always be right. Right? The Industrial Revolution lasted from 1 to 500 years. I mean, sure. It did. So, I reckon you've both got valid points. Just to really sit on the fence and be completely useless in this conversation. These guys are moving along the coast and stealing everything as they go. And that upsets me. Greatly. So I'm going to try and bring some muscle in. And get them out of here and get back my gemstones at least. This one wasn't so bad because it didn't have any luxuries. Although, sacrificial altars there now. Laputh is good. We should look to get our Notre Dame built sometime soon. But I might get this trade infrastructure online. And, actually, try and find a trade partner. Now, well, this demand is a... Can I... If I click accept for this, what happens? Because I'm not at war with the Edo Japanese anymore. So surely I can just go accept, right? Yeah, I think so. I'm not going to pay them $2,400 though, because that is just stupid. I'm going to try and convince them to trade me everything. They're going to reject the proposal. But that's okay. 860 gold to connect a trade route out of them. Yikes. Huge yikes. Demetrian might look to start softening these units, maybe. And also I'm very conscious of the fact that my neighbor will likely be just waiting to war deck me again. Almost certainly they'll be ready and waiting to pounce. So I shouldn't get comfortable and just assume that everything's going to be fine, because it's not. They've settled an outpost here before I got a chance to do so. We're definitely going to challenge them for that. A no-brainer. We need that. Twitch, show me chat. Hey, this is chat. Thanks, Torrential. You're right. The chat, I've noticed that chat tends to move between the platforms. It's either pumping on Twitch and quiet on YouTube, or it's pumping on YouTube and quiet on Twitch. In an ideal world, it would be pumping on both. There's a reason why I put the chat on screen, and it's not just so that everybody else can see it and they don't have to watch it annoyingly, but it's also so that the platforms can talk to each other, right? It's to try and remove that barrier and enable things to work properly. But it does tend to just wax and wane, and that's fine. Some things we can't control. It doesn't really matter. I would say industrial contemporary divide is 1920. Late 1700s, 1780s to 1920s, 140 years. Contemporary era should be split at 210s and beyond? Could be. I'm a fan of calling it the digital era, personally. Because then you can slam it in around the internet and smartphone revolution, and it makes a lot of sense. The digital era. Although, it is maybe in an awkward... no, you could maybe go digital and then post-contemporary. That could be what you could call them. Change the contemporary era, call it the digital era. Expand the one before it so it reaches through the Cold... No, maybe we need a Cold War era and then a digital age. We'll go Cold War, which will be after the Industrial Era. Call it whatever you like, but it's that period after World War II before this century. And then this century turns into the Digital Era. Although it still doesn't get around that whole future tech thing, does it? So maybe my idea's dumb. I don't know. Either way, it's a fantastic discussion. Future Era does seem to be something that we call for quite a lot as well. CK3 win. Jumbo Mac Pixel's being called for too. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Shall we say pencil it in for next stream, which will either be tomorrow or the day after? The way that this stream's gone makes me think it's been quite successful, so I think maybe tomorrow. So I'll pencil that in, but won't promise any Jumbo Mac Pixels anything, just mock pixels just yet. But what I am going to do is end the stream here. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in today. I'm going to have to cut it at the 3-hour mark. Usually we shoot for 4, but 3 will do. 3 will do. Thanks to everybody who supported the stream today. It was there was a pretty good level of support, which is really great. We had Amplitude Studios raid us, which was super exciting. Shout out to you again, Rogan. Thank you for the raid. Let me swap onto the ending screen so that chat's really big so that we can all read it easily. Also, I'd like to say, obviously, a massive thank you to Last for the super sticker, Dusk for the super chat, and Ben for the 20 bucker. Also, Franklin followed up with a tenner. And Dusk, you did 2! Oh, I'm sorry, I missed your second one as well. I'm useless. Have some money. I'm going to work on my comic. See you later. I'll replay that for you at the end of the stream as well. Sorry about that. Also, sorry for defeating your persona in war. However, you could still come back from this. We also picked up a couple of new followers on Twitch, but no new subscribers today. However, Artisan did renew their subscription, so thanks for that, friend. Until next time, everybody, I'm going to call it here. Hex, hey, you've been here the whole time. That is awesome. Thank you to the mods who are here, not only engaging in some fantastic discussion, ranging from everything from Humankind game to our first consoles and everywhere in between, but also for keeping us safe. Huck, I believe you may have played a hand in organising the raid, but actually everybody who was in the Amplitude stream probably helped support that too. Thanks to Entius and Alec as well for keeping us safe, and everybody for tuning in. And I'll see you next time. We'll raid somebody if you're with me on Twitch. If you're with me on YouTube, thanks for watching and liking. See you tomorrow or the next day at the latest. Whabam. And